what you're trying to do is build a career where you're working to live rather than living to work. I'm Wealthify's Chief Investment Officer, and my team and I are responsible for proposing and driving the investment strategy, which is basically determining the mix of bonds and stocks for our client plans across different geographies. So ultimately, our aim is to try and build a client plan so that over the longer term, we can maximize returns whilst managing risk. That's what I do day to day. Off the beaten track, I am a big sports fan. I have 2 young boys who never give me much quiet time or downtime, so always on the go. So my responsibilities are for managing, as I mentioned earlier, the asset allocation strategy for Wealthify. And what that is day to day is determining what mix of stocks and bonds we should use in portfolios across different geographies to try and get the best bang for buck. So in order to bring the best returns possible whilst managing the downside. And that's what I do. That's what the team and myself do day to day. So I suppose I always knew what I wanted to do, in the sense that I knew I wanted to work in the investment industry from an early age. I've always been interested in money, and when I was young, I was certainly quite entrepreneurial. When I graduated for university, I worked for a year in the back sort of / middle office of a stockbrokers, where I learned the financial plumbing, so to speak, which was very helpful, because quite quickly after that, I moved into a trade desk where I was trading stocks and shares, predominantly US shares. What that experience left me with, though, was the sense that I'm probably better speaking to people rather than being in the background trading shares. And that led me down a path of qualifying as an IFA, and basically continuous education ever since. In terms of sort of career, I've been managing money now for the last 25 years, doing it initially more on an individual basis, and then moving to managing money for companies, and then moving to managing a team of people who managed money for others. I've always loved my job. I think I've always felt very passionate about trying to empower people to invest. Providing options to those who maybe didn't think about investing. They might not have thought about it because, maybe they don't have the disposable income, or maybe they don't have the knowledge. And it's really important, I think, to show or to demonstrate that, everyone's got to start somewhere. It's as I say to my kids, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I was definitely very competitive at school and university, and sporty, but I would also say very sociable. I did know what I wanted to do from an early age, and I think I had the focus and drive to seek out the options, what the options available to me. And playing sports was super important to me. I had so much fun. I made brilliant friends, and many of those friends have stood the test of time. I think, maybe looking back now, an important life lesson for me was learning to juggle from an early age a part-time job and all my sports and educational commitments. So doing that from an early age, I think, has been very valuable to me as I progressed through my career. I've learned to sort of manage different commitments, as well as trying to spend time with my family. So it's about getting that balance right. I think perhaps, that sense of advising someone how to invest their money who has never invested before. So taking them through the initial stages of being uncertain, and then coming and managing that relationship with them over, let's say, a 3, 4, 5 year period. And then coming back to them after 5 years and seeing how I won't say grateful, but how pleased they are or were with the outcome. That for me has been very, very rewarding, actually. Yeah. Personally, I really cannot stress enough the importance of having a career that interests and energizes you. I think that needs to be sort of a base that you work from. And I say that because if you remember or you recall, you spend most of your waking day at work. So you need to enjoy your work. Otherwise, it will impact you adversely. And I think also it's important to understand what your life objectives are rather than someone else's. And then make your job and your career work for you and your family. So I always say, or I've tried to sort of work to this mantra, is that what you're trying to do is build a career where you're working to live rather than living to work. And it's that balance.